to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the actions and interests of skaters beyond skateboarding. My guest today, Matt Rodriguez, was born and raised in San Jose, California, but he moved to Sacramento at the age of 11, right as he picked up his first skateboard. After getting Flow Chapter 7 boards for a little while, Tommy Guerrero suggested to Jason Lee and Chris Pastras, who were then launching Stereo Skateboards, to get Matt on their team. He was part of their iconic videos of Visual Sound and Tincan Folklore in the mid-90s, in which his unique style and trick selection shined bright. Along with Matt Pailes and Matt Field, he launched the shoe brand IPath in 1999. He has also been playing music for over 2 decades in the band the Sacramento Storytellers, as well as the Blktop project, which includes fellow skaters and artists Tommy Guerrero, Barbee, Chuck Treece, and Josh Lippi. So here's my conversation with Matt. I hope you'll enjoy it. Okay, so let's start with this very first one. This one's from Tobin Yelland.
Tobin.
Yeah, legend.
Yeah.
He said, what was it like being young, growing up, skating in Sacramento? Was the older generation much different from the younger generation and your friends your age? And what was the music differences and similarities?
Oh, yeah. My generation of grommets coming up in Sac, very different from, the older cats that we looked up to, like Snaggle, Windsor, Sam Cunningham, the N-Man crew. They were before us, so they were like all into pools and ramp, and we were just into curbs and trying to learn flip tricks. They'd always make fun of us doing flat ground. They'd call it, anything we did on the flat ground, they'd call it the whip, right? Like, hey, can you do the whip? As opposed to like, can you be a man and grind that 10-foot deep end in that pole? Or can you do the whip? Like, hey, I got the whip, man. But yeah, it's very, very different. But, it was always cool. It was just like something that comes with the territory, with new kids coming up and the generation, having to kind of like be like, all right, here's the next cats coming up. All right, but it's up to every generation to know who was before them and always give respect, And then the music was still punk, but in the late 80s, more so early 90s, we were all getting into hip-hop, Hieroglyphics and De La and Tribe, and, you saw a lot of that in the skate videos, so, but we still love punk rock, and all that stuff. It's all one and the same, music and counterculture, skating, hip-hop, everything other than the mainstream garbage being peddled on every newspaper and every TV station.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great, and always big love to Tobin because he shot the first photo of me that I ever got in a magazine, which was my Transworld checkout.
What photo was that? I must have seen it, but I can't remember. Do you remember what trig that was, and maybe what spot that was at? Yeah,
it was at downtown here at Memorial Auditorium. It was a sequence of a 180 nose grind, 180 out. And it had a crazy, profile picture of me, making this devil face with my eyes in the back of my head, but yeah, I was always stoked on that. And I remember it yesterday, us skating and me doing that trick, and Tobin just in his super calm, soft-spoken self, hey, mind if I shoot that? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. Next thing I know, he's like, hey, you want to do a Transworld checkout? I'm like, hell yeah. So that was really cool, because I got to actually have a lot of the homies from E&B ask me questions or give quotes to that checkout. So that was a real kind of nice introduction into, I guess, hard copy of the skate world. First time in a magazine,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. Yeah, Tobin. Tobin. He needs to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I know you grew up I'm not sure if you were in San Jose first and then you moved to Sacramento, or was it the other way around? I'm not sure how that happened.
I was born and raised in San Jose and started skating there at 10 and a half, and then I moved here at 11 and a half.
Oh, okay. So pretty much right as you were starting. Okay.
Yeah, and moving here, skateboarding really took off for me,
Yeah.
all the skaters here. Just so many good skaters here that helped me become a better skater, you know.
I have a quick second one from Tobin. He asked if you had older siblings and what did they think about you and skateboarding. And I think I read somewhere that I think one of the first boards you had was, if I'm not mistaken, you found it in the garage or something. And it was maybe one of your brother's old boards or something like that.
Yeah, my two older brothers. I'm the youngest, and my oldest brother. It was his board, a little Goodyear banana board. But I had never seen him ride it, so I was just digging in my grandpa's closet one day, like, oh, what's in here to play with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very back corner, I see this little blue point, and I dig back there, and lo and behold, it was a little banana board, and that was my first board, and I was a knee-boarder, so I was boogieing down the street as fast as I can on my knee, and, you know, no one skated in my neighborhood, and my oldest brother was cool with it. He's, oh, cool, you picked it up. Yeah, I sucked at it, but maybe you'll do something with it. And then my middle brother, he didn't really like it because, you know, we're like, you know, this is San Jose and no one skated, you know. Like, everyone wanted to be a BMXer or a lowrider or a little wannabe gangster cholo. So, you know, no one understood skating. Like, what's this guy doing? You know, what's this weirdo thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I just kept skating and doing my thing.
Didn't discourage you to keep exploring that, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, they supported it, you know. But at first, it was my middle one was like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be a breakdancer. Well, you know, you stopped doing graffiti. I was like, no, dude, I did something about this. I need to move on it, you know?
Yeah. Let's do this next one from, this one is from Josh Lippi.
Lippi.
Who's part with you of Blktop project.
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah.
He said, Matt, not only are you a Sacto skate icon, you're also a Sacto music icon. How has the city of Sacramento shaped or influenced your skating and your music? What are your favorite Sac skate spots and favorite all-time music venues, even ones that are long gone?
Oh yeah, the old Sacramento music scene definitely. You know, with Filibuster and old steady ups. You know, rock steady ska music. Definitely, you know, got me jazzed to want to venture into that music and learn more about it. And, you know, now just been playing it for over 25 years. Yeah, just, you know, great music. Always been great music here. Punk bands, you know, some jazz, hip hop, you know, the Cuff. So many little local groups here.
Mm-hmm.
And the venues, it's always fun to play at Harlow's. You know, it's a little more of a ritzy kind of club, but Harlow's is always fun. I miss the old, was it Bojangles? No, the Cattle Club. The Cattle Club way up on Folsom. They used to do all kinds of punk shows there, but it's no longer there. Distillery, the old distillery, the old Ironsides, the original Ironsides. Still there, but, you know, different owners, so it's a lot different, but, you know, there's still some cool venues that are earning their stripes, you know, but some of the old ones, yeah, they're long gone, you know. There's Torch Club, the old Torch on L Street is cool, but now they're on 15th and J. It's, you know, still cool, but, you know, doesn't have that nostalgia. The old Press Club, the original Press Club, man, every band damn near played in that venue, and they moved. And it's cool now, but, you know, it's not that, it doesn't have the grime, it doesn't have the history on the walls, you know.
Yeah,
it's all nice. It's kind of more like a restaurant bar now than a venue. But yeah, a lot of good venues, old and new, some long gone. You know, all the bands, like I said, you know, Deftones. You know, I remember when they were just coming out. You know, I was really into jazz then, you know, but my later years I really got into Deftones, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of talent always coming out of Sac, you know, and yeah, Sacramento's definitely responsible for a lot of my musical aspirations to want to play and learn and be as best as a musician as I can, and, you know, be involved in the music scene here as much as I can. And with my local band here, Sacramento Storytellers,
mm-hmm.
You know, we've been pushing 26 years now, and
wow.
You know, we played everywhere in this town and out of town here and there, but primarily in Sac, holding it down. And you know, we've seen reggae, rocksteady bands come and go, but, you know, Storytellers, 26 years strong, you know.
That's amazing. 26 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
26 years of banging away and skanking away.
Yeah. Did you start playing music early on as you were picking up skateboarding as well, or did that come a bit later maybe in your life?
Well, as a kid, I always had instruments around me because our oldest brother, he was in piano, he was in guitar lessons, basic drumming. So I always had a snare drum around. There was always a piano, and there was always a guitar to fiddle around. But as a kid, I was mainly just would bang on stuff. But and in junior high, I had a couple of garage bands with my friends, little wannabe punk bands. But when I was probably around 19, and I was back here in Sac from being in Hawaii a year.
Oh yeah.
My friends here, Lathan and Jason Frost, they were all hardcore into jazz and stuff. So I moved back. I lived with them, and from then on, they really had a big impression on me, like diving deep into music.
Okay. Well, so that was kind of a pivotal moment then, right after you came home from Hawaii.
Yeah, I was like, I got to get into this, and not like I put skating on the back burner, but I had time, and they all skated too, so we'd go skate. We'd come back home, jam, then we'd go skate again, then we'd come back home and jam. So it was just like endless skating and music. So yeah, those were good times. Those were like the Tincan Folklore days.
Well, speaking of Tincan Folklore, well, not specifically about Tincan Folklore yet, but about Stereo, I got a question from Chris Pastras. So he said, Matt, Tommy Guerrero discovered you in 1992 and brought your name to the table for the newly forming Stereo Skateboards. You were one of our first riders, if not the first rider. Where did Tommy see you skate, and describe that career-defining moment for us?
Oh yeah, well, Tommy seen me skating up here in Sacramento at some of the contests at the Daily Grind skate park. And I was skating for Mike McGill at the time.
Oh yeah, Chapter 7, right?
Yeah, Chapter 7. Who Jeff Toland, OG legend here in Sac, got me on. He's like, I'll ride for you, McGill, but my friend Matt has to ride too, otherwise I won't ride for you. So Mike McGill's like, all right. So I was on that for a bit, so Tommy had come up for one of these contests, and he's like, who's this kid around, speeding around like crazy, going fast? And someone must have told him, like, oh, that's Matt, like, who's he skate for? Oh, he skates for Chapter 7, Mike McGill. He's like, that's gonna have to change. So
okay.
So it wasn't right there, but I eventually got on Thunder and Spitfire. So all hail Papa Shrugi. So I was kind of had my foot in the door somewhat as far as deluxe goes.
Yeah.
So one day, and I moved back to San Jose for a couple of years prior to going to Hawaii. So while living in San Jose, I was on Chapter 7, Thunder and Spitfire. And I was skating a lot with Shawn Mandoli, Ed DeVera, and Solomon Gall, and a bunch of locals there. So, I was there for a couple of years doing sophomore, junior year in high school. Mm-hmm. So one time, I called Shawn Mandoli up, right? I was like, hey, let's go skate, let's meet up. He's like, all right, but hey, man, I got a call from Jeff Clint today. He told me to give you this number. I'm like, what? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, Dune. And everyone knew Dune.
Yep.
From Rubbish Heap and all that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he's all Dune and Jason Lee are like starting this company, and they want you to ride for it. I'm like, what? I'm like, shut up, dude, stop fucking with me. Like, let's go skate. He's all, no, dude, I'm serious. Like, take this number down. You gotta call it. It's Dune. I was like, all right, you fucker, you better not be fucking messing with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as some young kid, 16, who the fuck thinks that Jason Lee and Dune are seeking
tracking you down, and yeah.
Yeah, like, huh? Like, what? So I go ahead and I call, and sure enough, it's Dune. He's all, hey. I'm all, Chris? He's all, yeah. It's funny. It's funny little voice. I'm all, this is Matt. He's all, oh, yeah, Matt, how you doing? I'm just chilling. I was just talking to my buddy Shawn, and he said Jeff Clint was trying to get me in touch with you. He's, oh, yeah. So then that's when he told me about Stereo and all that, what we're trying to do. And they have this cool music theme and all that. Very unique sounding, right?
Yeah.
As it was. And, we're talking for like 20 minutes or so. And then at the end of it, he's like, so, what do you think, man? You in? I'm like, shit. Well, of course. Yeah. I had to be stupid to say no, right? So,
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm in, man. And, little did he know, I had to call Mike McGill and be like, yeah, Mike, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
First time breaking up with a sponsor, I guess.
Yeah, that must be tough, yes. Especially, how old were you? Like 16, around there?
16, yeah. 16.
Yeah, it's difficult
But,
at any age, but especially at that age, yeah.
Yeah, but McGill was cool. You know, he understood. He's like, you know, Matt, you know, I knew something like this would happen, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and hey, I can't blame you. You know, Jason Lee and Dune and new company out of Deluxe, and sure enough, the rest was history.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget the first time meeting Jason and Chris with LeVar McBride. Yeah, we went down there and we got to Chris's first. And Chris comes out, he's like, come on up. And we're playing video games in his house. And the next thing we know, like, he gets a buzzard. And then his buzzard's connected to his TV. And he's like, yeah. So he goes to click on to see who's down there. And it's Jason. Mm-hmm. Totally out of the blind video. Big old chops. Tie-dye, crazy shirt. Me and LeVar like, oh, shit, it's him, you know. So we go down and, like, you know, we meet him. And then they take us to this parking garage. And it's nighttime. So we're all thinking we're all going to session, right? Mm-hmm. Me and LeVar like, oh, cool, we're all going to skate together. So we go, we get out, we get our boards out of the car. Next thing you know, we're skating, and then, like, all of a sudden, LeVar and I realize, like, oh, shit, they're not skating with us. They're just, like, checking us out.
Yeah, watching you, yeah.
Yeah, so LeVar and I, like, look at each other. I'll never forget. We're like, let's show them what's up. Mm-hmm. so LeVar and I just start fucking just going nuts, you know, like, bring, like, just like fucking doing our best, and then all of a sudden they come up, they're like, oh dude, fucking you guys are sick, you know, like let's go get something to eat. And then that was that. We were on.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, me and LeVar like, oh, they want to see it. And then we're like, oh, they want to see it, huh? All right, let's give it to them.
Let's show them,
yeah. So we just went ballistic.
Was LeVar, he was not in any of the Stereo videos, not that I can remember, so did he jump ship quickly after he got on? Like, was that a short stint on Stereo? Yeah,
he got on, and then shortly he went to World, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to World before visual sound could come out. Yeah, LeVar was amazing, man.
Yeah.
He was a miracle kid, that's for sure. Yeah, he just fly down the 7 like nobody's business. You know? You know, ollie light, shove it down the 7, no problem. There you go. But yeah, that was amazing. Definitely, you could say, you know, getting on Stereo was the, you know, very pivotal moment in my career where, yeah, if it wasn't for that, who knows, you know.
Yeah, no, it was stars aligned. Like, you were a great fit on that team, and with these guys and their vision and their aesthetic and everything, it really worked out great. So
yeah, it was cool. Never forget. Always thankful for Mr. Dune and Mr. Lee.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I have a question from another a teammate of yours on Stereo back in the day, Greg Hunt.
Greg.
He said, hello, Matt. I have a very simple and sentimental question for you. What were some of your favorite things about writing for Stereo? Looking back, our friendship and times traveling and skating together are mine. I love you, brother, and I hope you're well.
Yeah, right on, Greg. Love you too, and all is good, and hope so for you. Yeah, I mean, I would say one of the most memorable times is going to your house. You know, we're up on Market Street by Safeway, where, you know, Jason would go to meet up. Mike there, Ethan, you know, Chris. Yeah, we'd all meet up at Greg's house, Upper Market, and just go skate, you know, and go on missions with Morford. Go to Deluxe, get a box, you know, go down to Embarcadero, skate. Yeah, traveling around, the few tours we did in the van. You know, Dave Meddy filming. Poor Meddy, we used to give him hell. But I think he loved it. But yeah, it's all good. He was fun. And yeah, just all those times, man. Just it was all new for us, you know. Like, can you believe it? We're writing for Jason Lee and Dune. This amazing company, you know. Mike Dare, Carl Shipman, Ethan. You know, at the time, LeVar, Mike York, Ryan Hickey, John Diago.
I forgot Mike York was on there too. Yeah, like he also kind of like LeVar. He was on there very, very briefly.
Yeah, very briefly, and. John Diago
went to Chocolate or something. I'm not sure what was next for him, but
I think just World, something
World,
okay. Yeah, and yeah, just all those times, you know, like even Greg, you know, we're getting into music and painting, you know. Greg was, you know, getting into like filming, you know. He always wanted to film or take photos, capture, and just, you know, being young, man, living the dream, you know. Yeah, we had some good times, good laughs, man. We'd be laughing our asses off. But yeah, good times, Brother Greg. The Market Street house lives. It's still there, that old apartment he lived in. Yeah, every time I go to the city, I pass it and I look up. I'm like, oh man.
Brings you back, days. Yeah.
Like 3 lifetimes ago.
Okay, I'll play you this next one. We're going to stay on the topic kind of what we were talking about. Let's see.
See if I can guess.
Regas, what up, brother? Hey, man, fond memories, early days. I think before we were sponsored, meeting in Sac, skating with Cousin Bob and the whole Sacto crew when I'd go visit there. And then you getting on stereo, moving to San Jose for a minute and traveling U.S. tours, Europe. I remember hanging out, you and me, a bit in Europe, some contests, deluxe days. And so my question, brother, is do you remember when the German police came and got us and put us in their little paddy wagon when we were at that contest there in Münster? So yeah, man, I'd love to hear your side of the story after all these years. And yeah, I love you, bro. Peace.
Shawn Mandoli.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mandoli. Roland Mandoli. Yeah, well, yeah, we were hanging out, and we were hanging out the window, but it was the people below us throwing bottles, and they thought it was us, the exact same window, but one floor up. And next thing we know, like, we're like, oh shit, open up, it's the police. And we're like, oh, we're not gonna try to hide. Next thing you know, we're fucking getting hauled off to jail. And we're like, oh, dude, well, they're gonna be so pissed at us. We're gonna get kicked off. They'll probably leave us here, right? So we go, and they put us in the holding tank. And I, the whole time, I'm like, it wasn't us. It was the guys underneath. And then next thing you know, we see Jim Thiebaud walking down, right? And we're like, oh, dude, Thiebaud's so not happy, right? So Thiebaud goes, he's like, come on, guys. And then we're like, just hella silent. And then we're walking down. And it was either him or me or maybe both of us. We're like, Jim, it wasn't us, dude. Like, like we weren't throwing bottles out of the fucking window. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, whatever, man. I'm glad I could get you guys out. And you guys better rip it now in the contest. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I remember that Münster. Yeah, me and Mandoli. Yeah, we were like, oh, dude, we're done. We're so done. No more boxes, no more Spitfires. Oh, dude. But yeah, Jim was cool, and he believed our side of the story, and yeah, we were good. So yeah, that was a fun one. Mandoli, yeah, those were good days.
All right, let's do this next one from Matt Pailes.
Pailes.
He said, ask him about where the term "what is the matter, are you burning" came from and how it relates to Steve Young and Supernaut.
I don't know. Steve Young made that up.
Okay.
Just in his little voice, like whenever someone wasn't landing a trick, being frustrated, or just if someone was just pissed, Steve would be in his little voice like, what's the matter? Burning? The way he said it, you'd have to laugh, right? Or he'd be like, it seems you've acquired a burning sensation. like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
But he's like, yes, burning sensation. So, yeah, Steve Young, he must have got that from a movie or something. I think he it comes from a movie where it's like, what's the matter? You got a hemorrhoid going on up there, or something.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? But yeah, we still say it to this day, me and Matt. So I say it to random people, and they're like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean? Am I burning? No, I'm not burning." Yeah, Steve Young, Supernaut days. Yeah.
All right.
Hey Matt, it's Mike Rafter. In the late 90s, I remember you kind of went missing from Sacramento for a few years. I think you moved to Hawaii. How long were you there? What was it like living there? Was there a skate scene? I know that Jeff Hartzell lived there, Rob Carleone lived there. Can you tell us about that time a bit?
Yeah, Hawaii, I was out. I was like, just turned pro, Visual Sound just came out. And I had a girlfriend there at the time. She was stationed in the Navy.
Oh, wow.
She was from SAC. And so I went there a couple times to visit. But then after graduating junior year, I had one more year, but I was already 18. I was like, I'm going to go live in Hawaii. I like the skate scene out there and the locals. So I went out there, got a studio, like 5 blocks from the beach on the island of Oahu. And just shacked up there, skating with the locals, Rob, Renee Matheson, Kenny, Joe, Hartzell, Jamie Reyes, young Jamie Reyes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was skating at Alla Park, skating all around, it was good times. Good times at the Hickam Air Force Base. They had a park under a hangar. Kind of reminds me of the hangar park we have here in Sac, the B Street. So, I was just skating there and just, wake up every day to go to the beach and fall asleep to wake up on the beach. I was like practicing voluntary vagrancy in the sunshine on the exotic beach. So, I was just hanging there, boogie boarding, hanging out in the water, skating, just growing tight with the locals. And I was only there for like a year, maybe a year and a couple months. And I was like, all right, I had enough. Time to get back to Sac and back with the homies. So that's when I moved back, and I moved in with my friend Jay and Lathan and Mike Rafter and some friends lived in the apartment right across from us. So the very top 3rd floor in the very back was all just mini skate compound. So and even then, like Mike was filming, Domingo Vasquez was filming. So we always had someone around to document, all of us, including themselves, So we'd grab the camera and film Mike or film Domingo. So that was always cool, and then shortly after, Brian Anderson, a bunch of cats, Judd Hertzler came through and lived in the same building as us, and just added to the fire. So it was just non-stop skating, all of us just feeding off each other and getting better and just, fucking raising hell in downtown here. That was good days, Hawaii was fun. It was short, about a year and a couple months, but I had my fun.
When you moved out there, I'm just wondering, because you said you had just turned pro, were your sponsors maybe kind of telling you, is this a good idea? Because if you're over there, maybe it's harder to go on trips or to film or, to fulfill your obligations, so to speak, as a pro skater, was that something you had in mind as you were moving out there? Or were you more I'm just going to go out there, check it out, and I'll just... In what mind state did you arrive there, kind of?
Oh no, I was definitely there, and there's so much to skate. I was like, I'll get photos and I'll get footage and I'll send it back, and when it's time to do a tour or something, I'll spend my own money and fly back to the mainland and get in the van, so to speak, and do what we got to do,
Okay.
But that year just went by so quick.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was fun. But there's so much to skate there, and it was all new to me, so it was really inspiring, whoa, look at this spot, So, we got work done, made it happen.
All right, we're going to fast forward a little bit in time, but I have kind of a joint question from Nate Jones and Fred Gall. They asked basically the same question. They said, what was your favorite IPath trip and why?
Favorite IPath trip? Probably the one where we got to stay at Freddie's mom's house and hang out with Freddie mom and Freddie's grandma. Rest in peace, Mama Gall. Because she just welcomed us like family, and those were cool. And that's when IPath had sold to Timberland, and we were under Timberland's wing. And we had Dave, our buddy Dave was a TM. He was super fun. He was just a rad TM. He just made it fun, and we were out there hanging out, bonfire, Jersey. That was definitely a pretty intimate one, because we were close quarters, hanging out at Fred's mom's house, making breakfast, making dinner, hanging out at the local pub. That one, and I'd say probably the IPath Japan tour where damn near the whole team went. Yeah, that was a good one with Hiroshi from BP Trading. He took us out there. It was all of us. Even Clyde Singleton was there. Bigfoot was on the tour. So that was cool. That was I think a segment in the On video.
Okay.
Yeah, IPath had a segment in the On video that came out shortly after that tour. It was a good segment too. Kenny, everyone was on there. Yeah. Fred Gall, Mike Dare, Jake Rutt. Rafter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that those two tours. Hard to pick which one's better, but yeah, those stand out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we, like I said, we got some good footy, good spots, got some great footy. You know, and, you watch that footy today, it's still got good energy and good stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You just mentioned Bigfoot. I actually have a question from him as well. He said, he just said, "When boy." That's
when boy, when I'm good and ready.
Is that like when are we skating? When are we?
Yeah, it can mean anything, but it's from Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke in the very beginning, where Chong's dad is telling him to get a job, and Chong's just stoned out of his mind, you know, and his dad just blows his lid like, you know, when boy, when are you gonna get your act together?
Okay.
So the when boy is thick. Even Storytellers has got a couple songs where we say when boy in it. Can't let it die. When boys forever.
And speaking of IPath, just for a second, I just wanted to ask you about kind of your thoughts on this new kind of version that's been happening for the last couple of years, or I don't know how long it's been going now, but some of the older, like the people who were on IPath back in the day, like Can You Read, are associated with them. Soy Pande here in France, I think, writes for them. Yeah, I was just curious to hear your thoughts on this kind of new version of IPath today in 2026.
Yeah, I don't really follow it too much, you know, just because it's just, that was a real intimate time for us, the Mats, Bigfoot, you know, and as it grew, we, you know, got more people on, like Nate, Carl Watson, Kenny, Freddie, you know, so...
The team was amazing, like that 2005 promo video that Dan Wolf made, with the team was just flawless, like so many great skaters in that,
Yeah, Dan Wolf, he did a great job. Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm just, you know, the path that, you know, we started and until it eventually fizzled out, that's pretty much where I leave it, you know. And just as far as where it's at now, it's just kind of like, oh, that's interesting, you know. It's being done without any of the people that actually created it.
But yeah.
But, you know, what can you do, right? But, you know, just concentrated on the new journey and, you know, focusing our energy and trying to get the word out there. But, you know, just as far as who's behind it, money-wise, there's not a good taste in some of us memory for those who had a pretty good dose of his tactics. So it's like, you know, oh, anybody but that guy. But unfortunately, you know, it's that guy. But good luck, you know. But yeah, as far as the IPath, you know, that'll always hold a special place in, you know, all of our hearts. You know, we put so much into it, and we're still on that journey. You know, just whether a brand or not, or a logo, you know, that journey that's what we live for. You know, we play music. We you know, hail up the earth. We hail up, you know, positive livelihood, you know, music, you know, food, nature, you know, positive, just awareness, you know, fuck the system. Create your own way, create your own system. You know, that's the path, the real path, you know, brand or no brand, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But it is just a bit weird as an outsider, as a spectator, to, you know, see this new version of IPath, just like what's happening with Lakai. I don't know if you're following that at all these days, but like Lakai was sold a few years ago to someone, and now Lakai is still going, but without the founders, you know, without Rick Howard and Mike Carroll and the whole Krelltap gang. And it's just weird to see people skating in Lakais, but it's not at all the same Lakai. Just like this new version of IPath is not quite the same IPath, obviously, without you guys behind it, you know. So I don't remember where I saw this, but I think it was Mike Carroll was saying that it's kind of like seeing an ex-girlfriend, like from a distance with someone else or something, you know, and you're just a little bittersweet and just a little weird. So yeah.
Well, you know, that's what happens. These companies want to buy something that obviously isn't broken. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bought it. But once they buy it, they always want to put or at least try to put their own little thumbprint on it, because, you know, it's ours now. Now we want to put our little touch to it. Mm-hmm. And they always do the most ridiculous thing and literally break something that wasn't broken. Mm-hmm. You know, they start cutting team members. They start trying to change the vibe, the look, you know, the aesthetics, you know, the whole theme, you know. So it's just like, what are you doing? You know, you bought this because it's working. Now you're just fucking it up. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when Clone Lab bought IPath. They were the third investor, and they bought it. And Timberland had been sending us around for a couple of years to film, to put out a video. And Matt Price was our photographer, and he worked for Skateboard Mag too. So the deal was like, all right, we're gonna finish this video. We're all stoked on our parts, and when it comes out, Matt Price was gonna get a copy of that DVD in every skateboard mag that got printed for whatever month it would have lined up, and that would have went to every shop, every distributor, damn near, and that video would have got out there. So what do these guys do? Oh no, we don't want to put that out. Because why? Because you didn't say we needed to put out a video. Like, doesn't matter. We're the artists. We're the skaters. We're stoked on this. Put it out. It's already lined up. And lo and behold, yeah, they didn't put it out. Started cutting the team, and then it was done less than a year and a half later. Yeah. So, and you didn't listen to the writers, and they never listen to the writers because they don't know skateboarding. They think all there needs to know is money and more accounts,
business, and
So I could understand Lakai, and then they're like, you know, the people want to buy it, and you know, but you know, Mike Carroll, and I'm sure Rick Howard still wanted to be part of it creatively and keep the team together. But then, you know, once the deal's done, people change up. Like, oh no, now we want to do this, now we want to do this, and now look at it.
Yeah.
All those years, and now it's like, really? Fuck.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
I understand their frustration. So and then, you know, those guys, that's as core as it's gonna get. You know, if Mike Carroll, Rick Howard, like, come on, man. It's like Jason Lee and Chris Pastras, or Tommy G and Jim Thiebaud. Like, you know, take their advice.
Yeah.
You know, like, why do you think the company got to the point where you saw that it was something worthy to buy?
Exactly.
Just randomly, you know? Hard work, dedication, and people who hold respect in skateboarding.
And understand the culture.
Yeah, we live it. We more than understand it, we live it. You know, we know about trends, you know, people come and go, flash in the pans, but, you know, who's gonna stand the test of time? What's gonna stand the test of time? And, you know, time will tell.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's different, but, you know, time goes on and things evolve. Some things devolve, you know, whatever, but life goes on and you just make the best of it.
Yeah.
You got flat spots, do some more fucking blunt slides, even it out. Nose blunts is what got you all the flat spots. Now do some blunt slides. Try to break even. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this one from Joe Brook.
Brook.
He said, ask Matt about the slap trip that we took from Chicago to New Orleans following the Blues Highway. We went to Graceland, we went to Sun Records. They recorded at the Tortoise Studio in Chicago, and that's how Blktop project started, I believe, was from that trip.
Yeah, that was amazing because, you know, not only was, you know, just totally jazzed on music and learning and still growing and developing as you always are as a musician. You know, and then being asked by Joe Brook and Mark Whiteley, like, hey, we want to do this tour with Tommy, Ray, and you know, and Chuck. What do you think? You know, and we're like, well, hell yeah, cool. So the next thing I know, we're in a van, and Tommy and Ray got like these little recording apparatuses and just bare bones, you know, where most of the songs were recorded like in the hotel room. You know, and then the one time was at the Tortoise Studio. That was cool. And skating. So we were skating amazing spots, and knowing that, you know, they were going to do a pretty big segment on it in the magazine and release the tunes. It was like, oh, hell yeah, sick. You know, so we did what we could, and skating, and, you know, just to be on a specific tour with Tommy and Ray, it's like, oh, wow. Like, geez, yeah, I'm down. Like, I shouldn't even be in there, but all right, you're asking me. I'm gonna give it my 110, you know, so... Yeah, that was amazing.
Do you remember how that all kind of started? Like, how did they come up with like this list of people, basically, you and Tommy and Ray, and how did that all happen? Do you remember?
I think it's just Joe and Mark saying like, yeah, all these dudes play music, and you know, we all love their skating, and they all seem like they would vibe together. And
did you guys know each other a little bit, Ray and
yeah,
okay,
yeah. I probably knew Tommy more so than I knew Ray at the time. So it was like, oh wow, you know, gonna spend a good almost 2 weeks with Ray and Tommy together. Like, all right, awesome. You know, and of course, you know, Ray's just a super cool cat and just down to have fun and make the good times happen. So yeah, that was definitely like an experience. And then going down the, you know, Route 66, that was its own experience of its own, you know, and pretty rad to see, you know, the South, and still pretty raw down there, you know. But yeah, it was a life-changing experience, you know, and playing music and recording the tunes, and super rad at the end to see what they did with it, you know. They did an amazing job, you know, laying it out with the photos and with the CD in there, and that was just a great issue, and Slap was rad. I missed that.
And do you remember how did Blktop start? Like, was that something that you guys came up with, like the title, and at what point would you say like you guys officially, so to speak, became a band?
I don't know. I would say maybe a couple of years after that tour, because Tommy had got us together to have Chuck Treece come and play drums, and so it was just us four: Chuck, Ray, Tommy, and I.
Right.
So we did that for a couple of years, and then shortly after we got Josh Lippi involved, because he's just a monster. And Tommy was like, we gotta get Josh in there. He's a ripper, you know. He's a skater, and he's down, and he's just sick, and he's a cool ass cat. So next thing you know, it's us five, and then, you know, we're touring. Put out the first official Blktop CD, and then the second one, that's when Josh and everybody, all of us five, were on that one. Lane Change, I believe. But yeah, we did the 2 albums, and yeah, people still want to hear us, you know. Just got to get Ray and Chuck out, because, you know, us five together, that creates a whole new beast.
Yeah.
So
a lot of good energy in one spot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just up there like having a skate session on instruments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of formed itself, you know. I'm not sure who came up with the name. It was probably Tommy.
Okay.
You know, yeah, Blktop project. Yeah, that's some good times, and yes, I'd say to be continued. Doors always open.
Well, speaking of that, I got a question also from Chuck Treece. He said, what would life be like without amazing hot sauce? Also, when will the Struggles hot sauce be released on the market of Narboom?
Narboom, right? NorCal Boom. Yeah, life would be one big flat spot without hot sauce. That's for sure. It wouldn't be a smooth one, you know. But yeah, Chuck knows I love the fire. Yeah, you never know. I might have to make a special boom sauce, you know. Get hot, you know. The ring sting, burning sensation. So what's the matter? What's the matter? You're burning? Hot sauce.
He said also, tell Matt I said higher heights. I hope I'm saying this right.
Higher heights, yeah. Higher heights. Big up, big fire. Liberty, yeah, positive.
Well, we mentioned Ray a few times. He also asked a question, Ray Barbee. He said, ask Matt if there's a musician whose musical approach he feels parallels his skateboarding approach. I'm thinking it reminds me of a jazz horn player. Coltrane comes to mind, and Eric Dolphy, loose and free.
So, name a musician whose approach reminds me.
Yeah, it reminds you of your skating, kind of the way he plays music, you feel echoes your skating, I guess, or something like that.
I don't know. That's a weird one, you know, because I'm just like, my whole skating for me growing up was just like looking at spots. So it was like, you know, what would Nadas do? What would Gons do? What would Tommy do here? You know,
yeah.
Because, you know, you grow up looking at these guys in the magazines, and you know, they're inspiring you to even want to skate, and you aspire to be as good as them and learn and take it as far as you can. I don't know. I mean, I would say my approach is, I always just try to do something that I haven't seen. And as far as like how it comes out, like I can't control my body language. Like when I let it go, how it comes out is how it comes out. Sometimes, you know, when you film a trick, you film a couple of versions, right? And one might be like, oh, that one felt solid. Well, that one felt kind of sketchy. But then you look at the one that felt sketchy, most of the times I'd use that one because it wasn't so much it was sketchy, it was like my body was free. It wasn't like robotic and like extra perfect.
Yeah, it has more flavor, kind of.
Just more fluent, more like, not stiff, you know. So I would always pick those versions, you know, like, maybe it didn't feel as solid, but it looks a lot better while I'm watching it.
Yeah, more
it's a lot more natural. Yeah, more natural, more fluent. So, I mean, I don't know. That's hard. I mean, I could say if I wanted my skating to emulate somebody's kind of sound, I don't know, maybe some Gabor Sabo, something real relaxing, and his tone of music is very different for its time and free. He's kind of surfy, he's kind of jazzy, Latin-y, all in the same. So, but I don't know how he approaches music, you know, but his music sounds like something I would hope to maybe get across as far as like style, because for me, someone's style, their body language, that's the melody. You know, it's not so much the tricks they do, it's how it looks when they do it.
Yeah.
So we could see 20 people do a kickflip over a hip, but there's going to be a few in somebody's eyes that stand out to them for certain reasons. So if my approach is to try to be as relaxed as you can, try to do something as different as you can, and hopefully, you know, make it look as natural as you can. You know, and if I could hope my skating to sound like any kind of music or any musician, if it looks how like maybe Gabor or Sabo's music sounds, that's cool with me. Yeah, he's a smooth operator, and he's definitely one of a kind. Yeah, you ever heard of him?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna write his name down. You said Gabor Sabo, something like that?
Yeah, he's amazing. So Gabor, and then I think it's Zsabo, Zabo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll look him up. Yeah, seems interesting.
Yeah, you'll dig it.
And yeah, it was just this is just a question from me, but I was wondering. I think I don't remember where I saw this. Maybe your Chromeball interview that you did a while ago. Basically, you wouldn't spend too long on one trick. Like basically, when you had an idea for a trick, you would maybe give it a few tries, but you wouldn't necessarily spend 5 hours battling it. Basically, like if it didn't come kind of spontaneously and naturally, pretty quick, like you would pretty quickly give up. Like okay, like this is not working out. Like this is not flowing.
Yeah.
Would you say like that's how you approach skating usually? Like you wouldn't necessarily stick to one trick and try to get it at whatever cost, kind of?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, like if it doesn't feel like it's coming to me naturally, and I'm like have to like fight it, it's like nah, just try something else. Because otherwise, you get frustrated, you get worn out, and then then you get to the point where even if you do land it, you're like, oh great.
Yeah,
it only took me 500 tries.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, great. You kind of don't really enjoy it, but yeah, same thing. Like if it's flown, it's flown. If not, try something else, and just like in life,
I don't know about you, but the last few days I've been thinking a lot about Mark Johnson.
Yeah.
And because we're recording this early June, and he died a few days ago, very recently, and he's someone who battled for tricks, and like not necessarily every single time, but like there's a few of his clips and his videos that he went to war for basically, and I just thought it was interesting, like reading about you and how you approach skating, and thinking of how he practiced his skating. Seemed like two very, very different approaches, and I'm not saying that nobody's right, like they're both great, but yeah, it just made, I don't know, it just made me think of him when I was contemplating your skating and how you approach your skating.
Yeah, I mean, when I got older, that was more so like the approach that just kind of, stuck with me. If it's flown, it's flown. If it's not flown, don't be attached, don't fight it. But when I was younger, like the early stereo days, I'd go out with some idea in my head, like, oh yeah, I'm going to learn fakie front blunt slide, fakie shove it behind me. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And then I'd sit there and be, brainiacing for who knows, and 40 minutes or longer, and it wouldn't be happening. And I would just get stressed out and frustrated. Mm-hmm. So early on, I learned just like, hey, gotta let go. And, you know, and there was those times where here and there I'd fight and I'd get it. But like I said, you get it and then you're like, oh, great. Like, you can't even really enjoy it because you're just exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, so you're like fucking, you know, but when it's flowing in the moment and you're actually stoked on trying it, you know, I mean, as long as you're still stoked on trying it, then it doesn't matter how many tries. But once you know, you're just kind of like, oh, now I'm just doing it just to get it done because I've been trying so long. Then
there's
like,
no more fun, no more positive energy.
Yeah, I'd rather just try something else that makes me feel excited to, you know, chuck my carcass over. You get older, you get pickier too. You're like, what? I'm not gonna skate that. Nah, if I'm gonna skate something and eat crap, it's gonna be a worthy spot.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to pick your battles, kind of. Yeah,
because as long as it's a worthy spot, you could get broke off and you could be laid up in bed and you're still going to be like, that's okay. When I'm ready, I'm going to go back and get it.
Yeah.
But when it's just a mediocre spot and you were just kind of like going through the motions and then you get broke off, you're like, damn it, I don't even like that spot.
Yeah.
You know, like, I wasn't even vibing with it. I was just like, you know, doodling around. But it's
like, wasn't worth it.
Yeah, that's the worst right there. You're like, oh, why, stupid me?
All right, let's see.
Okay, Matt and Quentin, this is Mark Whiteley, and I've got 3 questions for you, and you can answer 1 or 3 or whatever you would like, but these are all things I think of when I think of you, Mr. Rodriguez. Question number 1, as a fellow very loose truck enthusiast, I remember hearing you saying something about how you imagine riding just a 2-inch wide section down the middle of your board. And I'd love to hear you talk about that a little bit more and your overall approach and philosophy to loose trucks and how that impacts your skating. The second is I would love to hear your reminiscences of our trip from Chicago to New Orleans and the birth of the Blktop project with Tommy and Ray and that whole trip. It was a pretty amazing trip, a lot of incredible skating and music, and the first time that you guys all played together, and here we are 25 years later and you guys are still playing together. So that was a really special one, and I'd love to hear your memories of that. And then the last one, your Tincan Folklore part was just like mind-blowing for me and affected the way that I skate personally so much, especially ledges and, you know, all of the fakey hurricanes and 50-50 180s out in the middle and that whole approach and flow really of how you skated ledges just was amazing to me. And I've always been curious about what you were thinking about or what you were looking at, who you were watching, ways that influenced what you were doing at that time, because it really kind of came out of nowhere for me, and the way that you and Greg Hunt both skated ledges in that video was just incredible. So just talk a little bit about your influences and what you were thinking about skating during those times. Okay, love you.
Nice, Mark. Yeah, as far as the loose trucks goes, like, I'd always tell people, like, imagine you're on a beam, because, you know, you really got to concentrate on the base plate width, because you don't have the rail-to-rail tension. I mean, you don't have any tension. You just have the width of your base plate, so that's like your spine. And then a lot of times I just tell people, just pretend your trucks aren't that loose. Just forget about it. You know, but of course when you go to like do ollie kickflip or ollie pop shove it, you know, that's when you have to face the reality where you have no tension on your rail to rail. So it's all you. You have to muster up everything that your calves have. But you know, that being said, that's part of why I adopted it, because I just love the fact that my shit's just dangling under there. You know? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm doing a kickflip and I can hear my shit going shing, shing, shing. And then you land it, you stick it, you're like, yeah, you know, like, that was all me, you know? Like, I guess I just fed off having to have, I guess, a little extra more, like, precision, I guess. because you land too much on one rail with too much weight, you're gonna pinch out. So you always have to have that base plate width from top to bottom. That's where your weight's going, you know. So anything else is a wheel bite.
Yeah.
You know? But sometimes you could wheel bite, and because your trucks are so loose, if you catch it soon enough, you can let up on your weight and still ride away. So yeah, it was just like, you know, me like kind of like adopting old Sacramento, like all the pool skaters, all the ditch street skaters, you know, Snaggle, Rinzer, they all rode loose trucks, you know. But I was like, I want to do that, but doing all the new tricks, you know. So I was like, you know, for me, I was like, I got to do what I can to keep that alive, because that's super sick. Because, yeah, those days you're doing slappies on the most loosest trucks. And it's like, how did they not get wheel bite? But they were on that beam, you know, like center your weight. You know, you don't got the rail-to-rail tension. Like, keep your weight in the middle. And, you know, they just like the feeling of being loose and their trucks rattling. And, you know, those dudes were known for, like, your board has to be noisy. So that's why they would take the shields off their bearings and borderline get all the oil out of their bearings. Because, you know, when your bearings are super oiled, they're quiet. They're like, quiet bearings? That fucking sucks. shit needs to be loud, dude. Like, and then with your rattly trucks, you know, let alone you had a couple of mounting screws loose. It's just like, what the hell is coming down the street? You know? Yeah. Lo and behold, it's just some skater with the most fucking fucked up trucks, you know, and hard wheels, you know, didn't help. But yeah, like right before Tincan Folklore came out, I was like, I gotta keep that alive, you know. I gotta loosen my trucks even more. And then I was like, fuck this, just all the way, bro. This shit's just dangling everywhere. And I can do it. And I remember my friends telling me, like, yeah, you're fucking crazy, dude. Like, what? I'm like, no, it can be done. And I just fed off it, you know, and it was just something fun to do. Just another challenge, basically, you know. Yeah. Like, now do everything with this circumstance, you know, which is a little more fucked, I guess. I mean, skateboarding's already hard, right? But let's try to make it harder. You know? So it's like, yeah, just fun, and you know. But that's how I describe it to people. Like, you know, you just concentrate on that beam like a 2x4, and you know, other than that, do your best and pretend that your trucks aren't that loose. You know, just block it out of your mind. You know, but when you want it to be there, like when you're into your Smith grinds or your Fubel grinds, you just like mold into your trick. You know, you're just like bent. Your hanger can just like bend so good, and you know, that freedom to carve, you know, when you want it. Yeah. There's a give and take though, you know. Tighter trucks definitely have its pros and its cons, but just like loose trucks has its pros and it has its cons. You know, you for the most part you can lose a lot of pop when you ride really loose trucks, you know, but it's about what's worth more to you, you know. The feeling or the ability to have a little more pop. Your tricks level out a little easier, but for me, it's like, nah, I want that sound, I want that feeling, and I just want to know that my fucking trucks are just fucked, you know? You know? So, yeah, that's like NorCal Sacto way, you know?
Have you been doing it kind of the same way since, for basically ever, for your whole skate life? Or has it kind of varied sometimes? Have you gone back to somewhat, you know, more tight trucks? Or like, do you have kind of your routine? Like when you set up a new pair of trucks and everything, like do you do exactly the same thing? Do you have a very strict routine with that?
No, well, I try not to set up new trucks ever. When I was young, I did. Because, you know, new board, new shoes, but I can't do that anymore. It's too new. So whenever I actually have to set up new trucks, it's a bummer. It's been a long time, but no, I would say just like right before Tincan Folklore, I just was loosening my trucks more and more, like every other week, and finally I'm like, what am I waiting for? Just take these fuckers to damn near. And that's back before I figured to shave my bushing. So a lot of the time my kingpin nut would always be coming off. So I would always putting it back on by hand until it would rattle off. So there'd be, you know, endless times where I'm doing something in midair, my hanger falls off. You know? So I'm like, oh, no worries, I'll put it back on, you know, by hand. So But yeah, I was just right before Tincan Folklore, I just was like evolving into it, and then ever since, I've just been riding them like that ever since. Yeah, both trucks. Yeah.
Wow.
But then later on, I realized, oh yeah, cut the bushing so that the bolt can go on more and not rattle off every other 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, definitely, once it was there, can't go back.
It's interesting. That made me think a bit of. I know Day One Song has. I think he does that with one of his trucks, maybe not both. I don't know if you've ever run into him or asked him about this, but I think he has one of his trucks. I don't know if it's the front one or the back one that's completely loose, and the other one is a bit tighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there must be a bunch of people that do it kind of like you. But I think in this day and age, most kids probably do tighter trucks just because they want the pop and the precision and everything. But
yeah, there are some kids out there like I've seen in Japan, super loose trucks, doing some crazy stuff. I'm like, damn. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it definitely makes it
more
harder.
Challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, how did you do that? How did he not get wheel bite?
Yeah.
So yeah, that, and just sticking with it. So yeah, loose trucks, man. Ride the beam, you know what I mean? And then...
oh yeah, so his middle question was kind of was basically what Joe Brook was asking about the Chicago, right? Exactly. So I guess we can maybe do the third one. Like he was asking about Tincan Folklore and the ledge tricks you were doing at that time.
Yeah.
Where did you draw the inspiration to do these tricks, and were there some people that were skating with you and stuff that you drew inspiration from?
Yeah, well, that was me, like, kind of drawing from the past, like, from, like, Nodis and them doing stuff, but no one was doing that stuff on ledges. So,
right.
Like, Fakey Hurricane, Half Cab Bob, Fakey Feeble Grind, just trying to do stuff that I've never seen. And, as an artist, skater, you're always trying to do different stuff and always trying to show something new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that was just like, there got to be a way to invoke the past and still make it present and relevant. So that, I was watching a lot of old videos and like, yeah, that could be done. Maybe instead of doing a fakey pivot grind and half cabbing out, just lay on it like a hurricane and half cab out, So kind of like invoking the past so it doesn't get forgotten and making it as relevant, I guess, as one could try in that day and age of Tincan Folklore. So it was really about me, like, being like, all these old tricks they're classic. They never die, and there's always a way to reiterate them. And like an old conga rhythm that's been around forever, you can play it with a little bit of a different interpretation around different instruments and like make it all new again. But really, it's just an old rhythm, right? Yeah. Stuff like the fakey feeble. And everyone did a feeble grind, but I was like, well, instead of a fakey 5-0 grind, do a fakey feeble and pop out in the middle. So it was really about trying to like invoke the past and keep it present, And yeah, that was some fun times right there in my skating, the Tincan days. Yeah, because that video right there was like kind of more personable to all of our parts, where visual sound was like Jason Lee's vision, like, all the jazz and all that. Where Tincan, he was like, you guys, put your music and whatever your parts are, edit them.
Oh, okay. So you got to edit that part yourself?
Yeah, like I was in the editing room choosing what tricks go where.
Okay.
The song and all that. So yeah, that was fun.
Who edited Tincan Folklore? I'm not sure who was the main person editing the video.
I guess it was back then, me and Dave Meddy and Tommy and Jim, I think. Back then, a long time ago. But I just remember sitting in some room in the Bay, like, yeah, I want this trick first, second, third. I want this visual flow. Put this little thing in there. These are my songs I want. So that was our chance for the writers to have more of their personal touch on their part.
Did you edit once you had stacked all the clips, or did you start editing and then went back and filmed some more clips?
No, I pretty much filmed all I felt that, like, I guess I had in me for the time. I was like, all right, I'm content with what I know I have, so let's go and sit down and see how we can
piece all this together.
Yeah.
mentioned him earlier, Jeff Toland.
Toland.
He said, ask him about the long finger game and his first nickname that starts with Mini.
Oh, Mini, yeah. Yeah, they always call me Mini Gons. Like, Mini Gons.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, just little kid just skating, trying to skate crazy. And, you know, I mean, back then, who didn't want to emulate Gons, you know? I want to be Gons, you know? We all did, you know? We all were just, you know, enthralled with Mark, you know? So, yeah, they used to call me Mini Gons. And, yeah, there's the one guy named here, Jeff knows, Brett Scarlett. I was at a couple of skate sessions a couple of times. Little grommet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, people would see me getting snaked by the bigger kids, you know? And, like, people like Jeff Toland or, like, Brett Scarlett be like, hey, anyone snakes this kid again is going to get fucking their ass beat, you know? Let them get a ride in, you know? Let them get a ride in. Don't be a kook, you know? But, yeah, those dudes and old sack dudes are always looking out for me, you know? So I always give them love for that. And then the finger game, yeah, it was like me and Toland, like limp finger, you know, with your finger next to your pinky.
Mm-hmm.
We just, like, try to get it limp, and we'd just be, like, tagging each other on the forehead, like, oh! Yeah, just like, tough love, I guess, you know? Jeff and I would put our arm out, like, come on, you want some? You want some? We'd be like, right against the wrist, like, like, see who could take the most pain, you know? We still do it to this day, you know? Like, come on, you want some? Hey, you want some? You want it? But yeah, Jeff Toland. He was another loose truck crazy rider, and yeah, so him, you know, growing up watching him skate, I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that, you know. And they're doing like slappies and, you know, riding tranny, frontside ollies, 6 slides, and Toland just had snap. So for riding super loose trucks, his calves are like, one of his calves are like both of my legs plus one. he's had these huge calves, and he just had the snap. So, you know, him and his loose trucks, and, you know, he was definitely inspiring from way back. So I remember, like, early Tincan Folklore days, like, yeah, like Toland, you know, like Windsor, but, like, do the tricks of today riding that crazy setup, you know. So, yeah, Toland, yeah. The finger, the limpy finger, step up. Like, you know, like pencil fighting? You know how you pencil, we would do it with our finger.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Bring the pain.
This one is from John Cardiel.
Cards.
He said, what were some of your sacred skate spots in San Jose? Spots that really grew you as a skater? I know San Jose was so spread out, but there was a bunch of good stuff to skate. I was curious of what really helped you to expand your sight as a skater.
Oh, well, yeah, the Sacramento brick banks, the very little that I got to skate in, I was like, oh, this is like a perfect tranny, you know? Like, I got a Fakey Hill Thunder ad on there. I was riding Apollo Diaz stereo board and some old airwalks. Yeah, there's incriminating evidence of that. But yeah, there was a Fakey Hill on those banks, and just skating those banks were amazing. The very little that I got to skate them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Safeway curb way over there off of in South San Jose that Jay Adams, Solomon Gall, Tim Broch, Edward DeVera, Shawn Mandoli, they'd all skate this curb in back of the Safeway. And Solomon Gall actually had a sequence there, a real ad sequence of doing a switch frontside nose grind, stand-up nose grind on it. And it was in his video part, the first real video.
Okay.
Just that block, that was like our little EMB block of San Jose, you know, because that's when I was in San Jose for 2 years during my sophomore, junior year before I went to Hawaii. So
okay.
I was there for 2 years skating tough with those dudes. And yeah, learned a lot. Learned so much skating with them. And Solomon, you know, he was just going nuts with his switch stance skating, fucking powerhouse. Just, you know, it was like watching fucking the Hulk on a board. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Solomon's like so graceful. Just this huge dude, and he's just still so graceful. But, you know, he had his times where he would just, you know, do like a ollie nose bash to fakie on a quarter pipe and like almost break the ramp, you know. Just because he was just so big, you know, like, I'm bringing this ramp down, you know. But yeah, that curve, the Safeway curve, and the San Ho brick banks, and there used to be a church there. We used to skate. Solomon was always there. Jason Jesse was always there. And me and Mandoli and Ed DeVera were like the little grommets coming up. So we'd go and skate there and skate with them there. And that was a very progressive time in skateboarding where, you know, ollie to tail smacks. Everything was like ollie to smack. Ollie to tail smack. Ollie to like quick hurt, disaster hang up. Ollie to fakey hang up, but you had to do it quick. You know, like don't be hanging out on the deck, bro. You gotta like wah-bah, like right back in. So the quicker you did it, the sicker, you know. So just ollie to Smith grinds, like, you know, slap that coping. Don't just roll into it, you know, like ollie and slap into it, you know. That's why you see some of that in like the IPath promo video. I like skating the half pipe. I'm like ollie into my feeble, ollie into my Smith.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
I remember filming that. I was like, no one does that anymore. I was like, you got to bring it back. You got to like ollie into it, you know. Don't just roll up to it. Like treat it like a curb.
Oh, that's
like
interesting. I never even thought of that, but now it makes sense. I'm seeing kind of the clips you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the half pipe. But yeah, San Jose. I was only there for a short time, but yeah, San Jose, the brick banks, the Safeway curb, that church mini ramp. I forget where it was, but some sick mini ramp inside of a church. So we go there and skate, and it was cool seeing Jason, Jesse, and Solomon skate it. Yeah, Jason Jesse was a trip. He was always kind of like quiet, you know, but he'd give you these eyes like, "What's up, man?" He'd like, does he like me? Does he think I'm weird? You know, but he's just kind of a quiet dude if he didn't know you, you know. But yeah, he was always cool to us. But yeah, just San Jose in that time, because you know that's when Embarcadero was just off the hook. Just you know, there was times then you could not go to Embarcadero and not see like 5 things that blew your mind that you didn't even know were possible. And you're like, you just saw them, you're like, what the fuck? You're like, what the hell was that? You know, like whether it was Mike Carroll or, you know, Javante or just so many good skaters there. I mean, they were all learning off each other. You know, you always saw something new. You know, Carroll. I mean, so many good skaters. Henry, God. Henry's a monster, you know. And I remember seeing Henry come one time, just like try the hardest trick. Like he didn't even warm up. He just went in and just started trying the hardest trick. I forget what it was, but it was just something. Everyone was just like, whoa. Everyone was just tripping out that he even thought of it, and he was almost landing it. I forget what it was, something crazy. But he didn't land it. But then he left his whole set up there. He's like, over it.
Yeah, I'm over this. Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh shit, take his board, you know. Parted it out, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, Henry was like, that guy was by far ahead of everyone, you know.
I just wanted to come back just for a sec to Cardiel, because I think you were talking in that Chromeball interview that I mentioned earlier. I didn't know this, but when I was reading it, you were with Cardiel the day he had his accident. I think it was in Australia. I'm not sure when that was, but a long time ago. But yeah, I was just curious about what trip that was, and do you remember kind of what happened?
Yeah, that was the tent city trip. Yeah, so that was the very last day. We'd done our last demo, and we were all partying, you know, and we all left to the hotel after the last demo, and, you know, he got out of the car out of the stoplight, and I thought he was trying to go get into the van to party with all the dudes, because it was just me and him driving, following everyone. We had Joey Treece was with us the whole tour in the car, but he had decided to go in the van from the park to the hotel, so we just left the park and almost to the hotel, and we come to a stoplight, and he just stopped, and like boop, opens the door and gets out, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he closes the door, and I'm like, he wants to go in there and party with all the dudes, right? Because they were all drinking and shit, and, you know, we're just chilling out. But I guess he was just trying to light a cigarette, and, you know, and Peter Hewitt was like, here, just take my lighter, dude. Like, come on, go get back in the car, and we're at a stoplight. Like, here, just take my lighter, I'll get it later. And John was like, no, I got it. And then the light turned green. Literally the second after he went and got Peter's attention at the very back window. And next thing you know, the light turns green, and the guy driving can't see John because the van's just full of dudes, hella loud, and John's in the very back on the opposite corner. So he's totally on his blind side. So the guy's taking off because the light's green. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, oh shit, do I go or do I get out? So I'm like sitting like, what's gonna happen? But it was so quick. He fell, and, you know, the van was pulling a trailer, but the wheels stuck out wider than the van. So when Cardiel fell, he fell flush with the van, with his head facing outward, thankfully, from the wheels. But then here comes here comes the trailer that the van was pulling with the wheels wider than the van. So the back trailer wheels literally did like a wally off John's back. And kicked him out of the way. Yeah. Kicked him out of the way at the same time. And we all were like, what the fuck? So they stopped the car right there. I was still stopped. I'm like, shit. So I get out of the car, and, you know, he's just like gasping for air. And I like grab his heart. I'm like, Johnny, you good? Like, catch your breath. You know, imagine being kicked by a horse, right? You know, you've gotten the wind knocked out of you, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine being kicked by a horse in the back, right? So he's like literally sitting there gasping for air, like, oh. You know, I'm like, dude, you got it. Just like calm, catch your breath. And we're all standing around him, and we're skaters, so our first instinct was like, let's pick him up, get him in the car. We'll get him back to the hotel. Like, not even thinking straight, right? But
yeah.
But luckily, there's a hospital around the corner, and some nurses had seen everything happen, and they rushed over and were like, don't move him. Do not move him. His back's probably broken, and if you move him, you'll probably just fuck him up even more.
Yeah, exactly.
And the truth is, that's probably what would have happened. And who knows? He might have killed him, because we might have trying to get him in the car, and his, you know, just might have mangled him to the point where, who knows, some nerve could have got struck and just pain, overbearing pain. Who knows? But luckily, those nurses came over and like, don't move him, just leave him right there. Mm-hmm. And then next thing I know, you know, he's in the hospital, and the next day, Julian, Joey Touche, and I are in the room, and John wakes up. You know, he's like, oh, dude. He's like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why am I here? I'm like, dude, you hurt your back, bro. Like, you fell and like you got ran over. He's like, what? Like, no, I'm good. He said, we're like, no, dude, you broke your back. He's like, no, I'm good. Like, fuck that. Let's go. Let's get out of here, you know, because, you know, who wants to be in the hospital, right? Mm. And yeah, so we're just like, oh, no, just relax, John. Just relax. Like, we're good. We're here. You're good. And he's like, no, like, I'm good. And he goes to, like, try to get up. And he realizes, like, oh, I'm fucking stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just see it in his eyes. He's like, put his head back. He's just like, fuck. You know, like, fuck, what did I do to myself? You know, like, we're like, hey, you're here, brother. You're going to get through this. We're here. Like, don't worry, you know what I mean? Just you got to give it time, you know? And sure enough, fuck yeah. You know, the doctor told him, you know, oh, you'll never walk again. You'll be in a wheelchair for life. And he's like, fuck you. You don't know who I am. Yeah, rightfully so, right? And yeah, I remember talking to him, you know, while he was still out there. Mickey Reyes went out there to help him and with his rehabilitation and just be there for support. And he's like, man, I'm walking, bro. Like, you know, I can stand on my feet. You know, I'm getting better. You know, it's little by little. I'm like, fuck yeah, John, little by little. And, you know, God forbid if he would have listened to that doctor and not try, who knows? You know, he would have never tried to ride a bike, never tried to, like, walk. You know, now Johnny's, like, riding his bike, fucking riding a motorcycle, fucking DJing, dancing, just living life, you know, nothing's going to stop him. You know?
For sure. Yeah, he's an inspiration. Very
impressive.
Yeah,
it's just Cardiel. Like, don't fucking give up. Don't listen to anyone. Like, don't even listen to yourself, you know. Go against all the odds, you know. Now he's fucking swimming from Alcatraz to the mainland. It's like,
I saw that, yeah, a little while back. I saw an Instagram post about that. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, he's still nuts. Like, you know, it's like it's not a fucking 20-stair rail, but it'll do.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
The closest thing.
Yeah, I got a fucking 50-50 for that. So, still challenging himself. Still trying to push his limits. So it's like, fuck, who does that? It's like Johnny, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great to see him push himself, and despite all what the doctors were telling him and everything, that he managed to overcome all those obstacles. And
yeah.
But like you said, like, he's a force of nature. Like, I think most people, myself definitely, I would have probably just the doctor would have told me that it would have crushed me. I would have been just so bummed. But it takes a real strong person to, you know, say, like, fuck this, no, I'm gonna get better and I'll figure out something, you know?
Yeah, and he did. And, you know, I still have dreams all the time where we're, like, skating a ramp or we're skating somewhere and I'm like, see, fucker? I'm somewhere and all of a sudden he drops in and just does one of his fucking classic 5-0 grinds full speed. And I'm like, oh, there you are, you fucker, see? I told you you could still do it. He's like, yeah. Like, yeah, I always have dreams of him skating. Because he used to always go shoot photos with Morford. And this is back on the Supernaut days. and I'd already left Stereo, and so I was on Supernaut. But he was here in Sac, so he'd always have Morford come up to shoot some photos. He'd be like, "Man, you wanna go for a ride? Let's go shoot." So I'd always go rally with him and fucking root him on and shit, and or we'd always go to the Bay, and he would always stop by one of his favorite stores and get some chips and salsa for the ride back in his old black Jeep Cherokee. So yeah, we'd always be like, "We gotta go get some chips and salsa for the ride back." All right, let's do it. So yeah, I miss those days, because he was always on a mission to get some footy or get a photo. It's like, gotta work, gotta get something. All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of missions, a lot of downtime missions with Johnny. Helping him go just so he's not alone, skating alone at some spot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because Johnny didn't really like a lot of people being around sometimes skating. He just wanted to focus.
Yeah. He liked a closer, how do you say, just less people on a session, just...
Yeah, and if anyone's there, just, like a homie.
Less distractions and, yeah.
Yeah, but just someone there so he doesn't feel like he's alone,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let alone, me trying to skate it, but most of the time it was like Johnny trying to skate something crazy. We're like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll be the cheerleader."
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be the water boy. He needs some water, Johnny. Like I'll sweep the ground where you land. I'll do some prep work, but I don't know. I'm not gonna session this one with you, bro. Yeah, fucking Evel Knievel style. Yeah, I always tell people, they ask me they'd be like, we'll talk about John, and I'll be like, if you could describe John, who's John to you in skateboarding? And I say, well, he's kind of two people in one. He's the Babe Ruth and the Clint Eastwood of skateboarding. He's a hard hitter, and like a Eastwood, don't fuck around, you'll get smoked.
I like that, yeah.
So, yeah, Babe Ruth and Clint Eastwood. You always got to ride for Johnny. I always sometimes I have his voice in my head. Like, fuck, I can't do it. What would Johnny say? Fuck it, stop being a bitch. All right, fair enough, stop being a bitch. Just take the slam. If you slam, then you'll probably be like, all right, that's it, no more slam. Now I'm going to land it. Right? Sometimes that's all it takes, like a good slam, and you're like, all right, that's the worst that could happen. Now, stop flirting around and Mac attack.
Just commit, yeah.
Handle it, yeah.
I have just a few last ones. Let's see. I'll play you this one.
Yo, Matt, how did you come up with the name Esla Boom?
Thom from Netherlands.
Yes, Thom Van Der Heijden, something like that?
Thom, yeah. Esla Boom, that's my old friend, Kevin Price, old skater, who painted some of my Supernaut boards.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my graphics, Supernaut boards. And he was an old keyboard player in Original Storytellers.
Wow.
Big tall cat. Big old Donkey Kong dreads. He died of pancreatic cancer at 49, maybe around 6 years ago, maybe.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
6 years. But he did a graphic for me a long time ago with the roller Esla Boom and the saying Esla Boom, skateboarding is the boom. So years later, I was like, we got to make that something, And to this day, I still rep it, Esla Boom, skateboarding is the boom. Just like in honor of him,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it was a cool graphic, I'll send you some stickers and stuff. So yeah, that was the homie giving me a shout out. He's all, this is for you, Esla Boom. I was like, oh, this is sick. And it was drawn on a napkin, and I misplaced it many years ago, but he must have drew that like 20 years ago at least.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we keep it going.
When did you start it?
I started doing boards with my buddy Casey Lindstrom. We started doing boards in the spring of 2018. But before that, I just did like my DIY stickers. I did shirts with my art, friends' art. I did that for like a good 5 years at least. And then in 2018, we're like, let's do some boards and hats and whatever else. And we still do it now. It's just, just kind of do it whenever, like no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it comes from that special place, that's when we want to do it,
Yeah.
Not like, new season, gotta have something new. Like, no,
Yeah.
That's its own little rat race that I don't partake in.
Right.
That's all because of Rocco. Steve Rocco started following the seasons of fashion, where, the fashion industry is like, yeah, spring, summer, fall, winter, and then stuff in between it all.
Mm-hmm.
So Rocco started doing that with boards. That's when we saw all these new graphics, all these new series every season, and then a bunch of one-offs in between. So kids and everyone was like stoked on all this new stuff coming out. So all the board companies were kind of just, I guess, felt obligated to do it because, they would have kind of fell behind just sticking to like one good graphic staying out for a year or two.
Yeah.
So, which it sucks because, nowadays, even social media, something good or bad, doesn't have full time to saturate.
For sure, yeah.
It's like, it's here this morning and gone tonight.
Gone a few hours later, yeah.
Yeah, like scroll, next, video footage, it might take someone a whole 2 months to come up with a minute of some good footy, and then you put out a minute of good footy back to back, and then gone.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple people will share it, but you're still in the midst of, eons of people putting out edits as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to get buried in the feed, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the old days.
Strange time, yeah.
Yeah, like you got a Thrasher and you had that shit on repeat, turning pages back and forth for a month until you or the local skate shop got the new one in. And even then, you still went back to the old mags and to check it out. These days, who's really going to people's pages and looking at back posts that they may have posted, right? So it's so vast. It's beautiful, but it's also just like a double-edged sword,
You mentioned Casey Lindstrom. I have a couple questions from him. He said to ask you about getting older, and is the struggle real?
The struggle is real for sure, but you just gotta, ride the wave as best you can. Life is a set of endless waves coming at you. Some powerful, some big, lethargic and slow, and everything in between. You just gotta ride it as best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's time to duck dive, you gotta know when to duck dive. I'm not gonna try to surf this one. I'm gonna duck dive and sit out.
Yeah.
That's picking your battles, right?
Let's see. Oh yeah, this one's from Tommy Guerrero.
Tommy.
He said,
Tommy.
What is a dirt squirrel?
What is a dirt squirrel? A dirt squirrel is just, it could be a thirsty boy or a thirsty lady who just doesn't take no for an answer and just keeps coming back for more loving.
Okay.
Or most skaters are dirt squirrels, like we're in a dirty ditch or a slimy, grimy pool trying to get our tricks, trying to bust the nut, so to speak. So yeah, skaters can be dirt squirrels for sure. Skating and camping out in the most grimy, dirty situations, but loving it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're keeping it dirty like some dirt squirrels. Trying to get our kicks, right? The thirsty dirt squirrels, they're out there.
He also asked, is your nickname Strugs, and why?
Yeah, they call me Strugs because I always say life can be very equal to struggle, where life ain't always a bowl of cherries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, I'd imagine that sometimes that makes a person soft. But when the hard times come and you're under a little bit of adversity and challenge, that struggle helps you to remember to pull shit out of thin air to make your situation all right and to bear it that you may not have thought you've had.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a good friend dying. It could be I just paid rent, now I'm broke. That's fine. I got 30 more days to make some money to pay rent again. It could be anything. When you hurt yourself as a skater, you're like, fuck, I'm on the sidelines, strugged out. Fuck it. Will I ever get back in the race?
Yeah.
Yeah, the strugs. Just, the struggles can befall anybody. You never know the time, the place. Some are bigger, some are smaller. But when the struggle comes, you do your best to endure.
Yeah.
It happens as musicians, too. You'd be like, fucking guitar player, like fucking first song, second song of the set. Fuck, I just broke a string. Strugs. Yeah. Fucking playing fucking drums. My last pair of sticks. Almost done with the fucking set. Bam! Break my stick. Oh, I don't have another one. Strugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fucking recording music on my laptop with my headphones, but only one headphone works. Strugs. Like one of Tommy's songs, struggles and hustles. You gotta make it work. Hustle through the struggle as best you can. It's all kinds of struggles. Spiritual struggles, social struggles, emotional struggles, day-to-day economic struggles. Yeah, it could happen to anybody. May the strug be with you. and the ability to persevere and endure forth. You're a skater, you're filming a trick, almost landed it a couple times, just about to land it one more time, bam, snap your board. Struggles.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know, now you gotta wait for a whole new day to come back and be psyched on that trick to, you know, get the energy to do it and try it again. You know, the strugs.
This one's from Mario. I hope I'm going to say his name right. Realegeno? Something like that?
Oh, yeah. I can't say it either. Realegeno?
Realegeno or something like that? Yeah, sorry for butchering your name, Mario.
Realegeno?
Something like that. He said, Matt, you've always represented skateboarding as something creative, soulful, and free, not just tricks or contests. What advice would you give to the younger generation on how to keep loving skateboarding, stay original, and push it forward in their own creative way?
Just try to think outside of anything you've ever seen. It could be a variation of something you've seen, but it's still a new variation's a new variation. Or, if possible, just something totally out of the box. And, you know, remember that skateboarding's a mission, not a competition. If you're gonna be competitive towards yourself. Like, you know, is this the most and best of my ability, or the most creative that I can do, or is there more? Challenge that, because, you know, there is no best skater. There's many greats and times and places, but, you know, just always remember, skateboarding is just personal creative space to find and keep your sanity in a not so sane world, and a good escape, so to speak. You know, and just explore and have fun, and never get stressed out. Like, hey, are you getting frustrated with the trick? Move on, try something else, come back to it later, right? And
right, yeah.
Always try to keep finding new spots, because it's all about spots, especially when you get older. You know, you're like, you want to skate unique spots, unique terrain. That's what motivates me, you know. I'm like, I could be sore as hell, I could be hungry, haven't eaten in days. I see a spot that lights me up, I'm like, I'm ready, let's do it. Let's get something on it. Just keep looking for spots that stoke you out, and remember, it's a mission, not a competition, and just progress at your own pace and evolve in your own way as much as possible. And most of all, never be discouraged by people really, really better than you. People amazing, because that's just showing you what's possible and where you could be one day if you stick with it.
Right, yeah.
I mean, growing up here in Sac, watching Jeff Toland, Brett Scarlett, Jay Frost, Eric Cardiel, Lathan, so many people, all the kids, you know, Windsor, Sam, all those dudes were so good, way beyond my ability, but it was just like, okay, I'm gonna get me some of that someday. You'll see. Note to self, you know. So never be afraid or shy when there's kids way better than you. Sit down, observe, and look and pay attention. And it's all about just trying and mimicking the body movements until you figure it out and you got it down. And, you know, and even then, you know, I mean, how many kickflips have I done? I don't know, but do I still bail on a kickflip? Yeah. So, yeah, it's always going to be a challenge, and you don't got to be a robot to have fun. You know, sometimes it's eating shit is fun. Like, oh shit, here it comes. You're in midair. You're literally in midair, and you're like laughing, like, oh shit, it's happening.
You know what's coming next.
Here I go again on my own, eating shit down the only road I've ever known. You know? and then you fall, right, and you take it, and you're like, that kind of felt good. Like, I could still slam and take a good slam. Like, okay, that means you can skate. Yeah. Because when you're done slamming and you just don't even want to imagine taking another slam, I would say that's when you're done. You know?
Yeah.
But if you're still down to eat some shit and possibly right away, skateboarding's for you. You know? There's no escaping that.
That's for sure, yeah.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, you're a professional skateboarder." No, I'm a professional fall boarder.
Basically,
I ride away. Yeah, I ride away sometimes. Yeah.
All right, I have a couple questions from Greg Carroll.
Greg Carroll, where's my package? I'm still waiting for my Think package, Greg.
He said, why does style matter when riding a skateboard?
Well, I would say it matters in the sense where it might be a little more enjoyable to watch, because like I said, somebody's style, their body language, and whatever that may be when they skate and how they skate, their body language is the melody. Mm-hmm. So when you hear someone playing the guitar or the trumpet or the piano and they're playing melody, you can hear and feel if it's fluent. And even then, it may not be a style that you like, but you can be as fluent as possible and your skating come out and express like it's your second nature. It's going to be a lot more, I would say, I guess, just funner to watch. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, I could see 10 kids now do, a switch crook down a 10-stir rail. Yeah, I know the hardness in that, the ability. I know what that takes. It's gnarly. Or I could see someone like, fucking Julian push down the street and be like, oh, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or, just seeing Gons carve around in a pool with this crazy long board. Like, what's this guy doing? It's not so much what he's doing, it's how he does it.
Right.
You could watch Barbee just push down the street to the store. You're like, oh, sick, Ray's pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now I want to skate,
Yeah.
So style is like the malady of someone's physical ability, so the way they skate and their body language, that malady is going to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And you're going to know if it's fluent or sketchy, But sometimes sketchy, like I said, some people would do stuff sketchy and it looks rad, Like, oh, they almost fouled, they almost ate shit. Even radder, but they didn't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So sometimes something can be super solid, but something sketchier just might look cooler to you. So, but a lot of it's in the eye of the beholder,
Yeah.
But for me personally, it's not so much what somebody does; it's how they do it.
Yeah.
That invokes like something that it's not even about how hard of what it is they were doing. It's just how they did it, and they made it look like magic.
Greg also asked, I thought it was an interesting question. I'd be curious to hear what you think about that. He said, what do you believe is the most important aspect of the skateboarding community?
Its sense of community, and that like Mark Johnson just passed, right? Mm-hmm. And it was cool to see so many people just giving him a shout out the last couple of days, and it just shows how many people he touched. Just like the human community, right? There's seemingly not much of a sense of community in the human community as much as you think there would be. But when it comes to skateboarding, the world's a small place, but when it comes to skateboarding, it's even smaller, right? Mm-hmm. So, like when someone passes away, whether they were popular or not, if someone's sick, someone needs help, we come together.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody, but it'll never be everybody. But it's only has to be enough,
Yeah.
So that's probably the greatest thing about the skate community is that we actually still have a sense of community beyond big sponsors, beyond big formats that cover skateboarding, TV, you name it. When it comes down to it, the nitty gritty, if you were someone in skateboarding that showed respect and maybe you were lucky enough to inspire some people or just reach some people, doesn't matter how big or famous you are, people will give a shout out and come together and make note of that. Mm-hmm. So that's cool, Our skaters come together to get a park built in their town. We did that once in Sac, and it worked. We forced the city to institute a park, and stood our ground and said, no, screw that. You're giving us tickets. You're sending us to jail. You're taking away our property. You're not going to make us a park. We'll do our own, and we're going to force you to get behind it. And that we did. We still have B Street, still there today. And hopefully we work on another one. But skaters come together for building parks, for helping another skater who might be sick, or just acknowledging a skater who may have passed. You know, I mean, look at Phil Shaw.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that was amazing what they did, putting that together. And that's skateboarding looking out for itself. Because when we look out for another skater as a community, even if it's just one skater for a particular point in time, that's skateboarding really just looking after its entirety. Because, you know, one skater at a time, hey, you know, skateboarders are always going to do what they can to be like, yo, this deserves appreciation or acknowledgement. And skaters definitely down to come together for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the sense of community in a world that damn near seems like it has no sense of community.
Yeah.
You know, like here across the world, and our common bridge is skateboarding and its history.
Mm-hmm.
You know, binds us all together like a historical bridge that no one, even if we wanted to, no one can tear down, and not even ourselves. You know, which is a good thing because skaters can fuck some shit up.
They sure can.
Starting with spots, you know. But yeah, we hold together and stay strong for our place in the world, because at one point in time, yeah, it was not the biz to skateboard at all.
All right, I'll play you the very last one here.
Yo, Maddie. What up, brethren? Delatorre here. So you've been doing this for decades now, and you've inspired so many people on and off the board, including myself. And I just want to know what inspires you and what keeps the fire burning. All right, dude. Hope you're well. Peace.
Yeah, Brian. Fuck yeah, Brian. Fucking ruler. Yeah, what inspires me, man? Just, you know, good music, good people, community, you know, just the aspiration to know that every day we're here, we can touch somebody, we can better ourselves, and whether we know it or not, when we're living our best example of ourselves, whether you know it or not, you could inspire somebody. Sometimes, you know, people tell me, oh, thanks for the inspiration, man, la 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 la, all that. I'm just passing on what was given to me. So do the same thing. You may not think you can be an inspiring person, but I'm pretty sure you are. If you can acknowledge inspiration and take inspiration and do something with it, that's everything. Because the chances are you're going to inspire somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I started skateboarding on my knees. It's not like I jumped on a board and just fucking started doing stuff. It was like, nah, I was a kneeboarder for like a year. Couldn't stand on my board and push to save my life. And just kept at it. But yeah, just, you know, good weather, history, good history. I love to read about history, things that have happened, and how to keep certain things alive today. Like, you know, just having a sense of community, having an open heart. You know, this world is full of people that'll, you know, take not half a breath by taking advantage of someone with an open heart. But, you know, you gotta be bold. Like Jimmy said, are you as bold as love? Because love and compassion is the highest attribute as humans that we can express through compassion, through our music, through our art, through our words, our literature, our poems, through anything we do. Just being us, just giving someone the time of the day and hearing them out. You never know what you could have done for that person. They might have wanted to jump off a bridge, but because you heard them out, they didn't do that. Talk to a stranger. You know, these days you're walking down the street, you see someone coming right at you, and you see them see you coming right at them, and you both know you're going to cross paths. But more so than the usual, you think they're going to say hi, but no, what do? Right before you're about to cross paths, they pull out their phone and look into their screen.
Yeah.
It's like, what, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, how about that sunshine? Or a little bit chilly today, huh? Or, you know, how about that nice wind? Like something. You know, just basic acknowledgement. You know, like I said, just every day is an opportunity to grow and be a better version of yourself, and try to find something to do, creative, or just try to keep something you've been doing steady and holding firm. And like I said, making music, art, making good times with your friends and families, those who have gone on before us. You know, all we can do is live harder, thrive harder, create more, love more, and just, you know, rejoice more in life and take life that much more, not for granted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's where the fire comes, and knowing that, hey, I may not come across that spot that I've been looking for, but if I keep looking, I'm gonna find something that gets my old chicken sticks excited, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it makes me want to go do a little bok choy in the streets. You know, it's all about that. You know, just looking forward to creative things that you may not know that happen, but you keep it open. You project it in your long-term vision. Like, yeah, there's going to be some cool things happening, and just stick around, and something will happen, and you'll be there to experience them. So, you know, whether you know or not, just, you know, tell the universe, I'm available. Put me to where I'll be best of use, and where I can, you know, live out the most of my abilities on any given day, and pass it on and help someone, help something. Shoot, help yourself so that you can help someone or something that much more. Just stay grounded.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a great way to wrap this up, I think. Yeah. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and answering these questions.
Yeah, right on. And nice questions too. And thank you to all the friends out there. Good to hear you guys. And you know, skateboarding, it's an awesome bridge. It keeps us all together. Let's keep enforcing it with good times and things to come.
That's it for my conversation with Matt. Follow him on Instagram at potion1er_es_la_boom_ to keep an eye on his upcoming skate and music projects. And make sure to go watch and rewatch all of his iconic video parts which we mentioned throughout our conversation. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Boards.